So let's get started with the education element of today's topic. Money management is important. It helps you achieve financial security and have financial confidence. So here we're going to talk about some key skills for successful money management. And the first one is to set smart financial goals. So before we jump into the nitty-gritty of all the money management tactics and creating budgets, we need to answer two very important questions. What do you want to achieve with your money and why? And that's why we need SMART financial goals. Adhering to the SMART acronym helps us to set out and achieve realistic financial goals. So here's what the acronym stands for. S is for specific, M, measurable, A, achievable, R, relevant, and T, time-oriented. For instance, let's consider the goal to pay off your credit card debt. Now that's a good goal, but it's just too vague to be actionable. Are you adding more debt as you speak? What's your payoff date? Do you have the income and expense ratio you need to achieve this goal? The SMART version of this goal would be, I will pay off £5,000 in credit card debt by August 2022. Now that goal is specific and it tells you exactly what you want to achieve. It's also effective because it's measurable by a currency amount, it's tailored to your specific needs, and it comes with a real and reasonable deadline. Setting around 3 to 5 SMART financial goals at one time is plenty. And remember, they'll change over time, so you'll revisit these periodically. The second thing to do is to organise your money with a budget. Now, not everybody loves budgeting, but the results really are worth it. So some of you may be familiar with this, and I'm a big fan of the 50-30-20 budget. You aim to spend 50% of your income on needs, 30% on wants, and 20% on paying off debt or savings. To create your 50-30-20 budget, you start by adding up your income, expenses and savings. You calculate the budget of how much you spend on needs, wants and savings or debt each month. These can be estimates initially, and then you can adjust the real numbers as you go. The next thing to do with this budget is to track your spending every week by looking at your account activity and ensuring that you stay on that budget. Then you budget for the next month at the end of the previous month. You might need to update your spending categories based on monthly events like birthdays or a holiday or upcoming life changes. To help you stick to your budget, set a reminder on your phone or a calendar appointment to quickly check in once a week. And if the 50-30-20 budget isn't right for you, you can try envelope budgeting or something called zero-based budgeting. The next thing to do with our money management is to build and maintain an emergency fund, because emergencies happen. We lose jobs, the car goes kaput, we could struggle with bills. That's why it's a good idea to have money stored away to fall back on if things get tight. Now, it's recommended that you save enough to cover 3 to 6 months of your expenses. So if your monthly expenses are £2,000 or dollars, then you'll want to set aside between £6,000 and £12,000 or dollars. Now don't forget, it's an emergency fund, not an I really want it fund, so try your best to avoid using any money that you've squirreled away for emergencies on the things that you want instead. Money spent on the things you want will fall into that 30% portion of your budget. If saving this much money seems overwhelming, start by building up $1,000 or pounds first. It's okay if it's slow going, put away whatever you can from your paycheck each month. The next thing to do is to make conscious spending decisions. It's so easy to spend money unconsciously, especially when purchases can be completed online and in a single click. But think of it this way. When you don't pay close attention to the money you spend, you're taking money away from your future self. Your budget should help guide your spending decisions, but it's also important to become a conscious spender. So ask yourself a few questions before purchasing an item. For example, ask, why am I purchasing this? Another way to be conscious is to look at where you've got multiple subscriptions when one would do, for example, Netflix and another streaming service. Another way to be more conscious is to try batch spending, and this is where you create a 30-day list of items that you've got your eye on. You might take photographs or save them, and if you feel strongly about the same item after 30 days, then you can buy it. You can use this as well to identify and avoid your spending triggers. For example, if you find it difficult to control your online spending, unsubscribe from the retailer emails and unfollow these retailers on social media. The point is about making informed purchase decisions based on your budget, not on a whim. So maybe you could couple a mindful moment with a spending activity to remain present. The next important thing to consider with money management is to diversify your income. Diversifying your income means to create multiple streams of income, and whilst it's not important in every situation, it's a good idea not to rely solely on your full-time or part-time income, since you never know what the future holds. Instead, find ways to make an extra $50 or $100 or pounds a month, or however much you can. Every little bit helps you to reach your goals. Here are a few ideas of how you could create a second income stream. You could become an online tutor, or you could sell things on eBay or on Facebook Marketplace. Another option is to look after or walk people's dogs in your spare time. And if you're creative, you could set up an Etsy shop or sell digital products like printables. Even if you can spend only a couple of hours a week to work on this extra income stream, every little bit helps. Now let's talk about debt. Now, debt can not only feel overwhelming, but it can also be a roadblock to achieving your savings goals. So whatever type of debt you have, a debt payoff strategy will help you to crush your debt down as quickly as possible. To get started, tally up your debt and the interest rates, because it's normally best to pay off loans with high compounding interest rates and make minimum payments on all of the other debt to avoid defaulting and incurring any late fees. Now, set up automatic payments to ensure that you never miss a payment, and also choose a payment strategy that you're going to tackle your debt with. The Avalanche Method is when you pay off your debt with high interest rates first before moving on to the debt with low interest rates. Whereas the Snowball Method is more concerned with the whole value of the debt, and in this method you pay off the smaller debts first and then move on to the bigger debts. Now, determine how much extra you can put towards debt each month. Just making the minimum payment is a great start, but the more you pay off, the less interest you'll pay over time. It may be necessary to be more creative with your debt payoff strategy, and if you've got multiple high interest credit card debts, a personal loan may help you to consolidate and pay it off. Should I save or should I spend? That is the question. But really, is it? Because we all have good intentions to save money, but after we've paid our bills and we've bought the groceries, we often find that there's just nothing left at the end of the month. Now, that's why you should put aside your savings before it's time to pay the bills. Automatically move that 20% of your paycheck to the savings every month, and consider saving in different kinds of accounts. For example, a retirement account or a high interest account, or maybe you would invest in stocks and shares. If you don't think that you can spare 20% of your paycheck, start by saving a smaller percentage, even just 1%. Now, that might not sound like much, but 1% is better than nothing, and you can really build it from there. It is still a step forward, and it's a habit that you're creating in supporting your financial future, and over time you'll slowly build up to a larger percentage. One of the most important things with managing your money is to be consistent. Of course, these money management skills require a little work on your end. You've got to be consistent in your efforts to ensure that you become and stay financially healthy. It's all too easy to say that we don't understand some of this stuff and then just not do anything about it. But learning how to manage your money is the first step to financial stability and the freedom that we all deserve. So overcoming thoughts like these is vital to taking control of your money journey through life. So let's have a little look into these further. When we fail to manifest abundance, the most common reason is that we're unknowingly thwarting our own intentions. Money blocks and limiting beliefs can cause us a whole load of problems, and money's not an exception. So let's have a look at some of the blocks that you might be subconsciously putting in your own way. So the first block is believing that you don't deserve money. If you grew up believing that abundance was something that happened to other people, you might think that you're not good enough to get rich. Remove the idea that only certain people are deserving of success. Anyone and everyone can be successful in their own way. The second block is having negative assumptions about money. While abundance is a goal for many people, a lack of wealth can lead to negative thoughts about money. It's true, money cannot fix all of our problems. However, dwelling on those negatives can block your success in manifesting wealth. The third block is from the cues from your environment. Does your home or work environment subconsciously tune your mind into a vibration of lack rather than abundance? Now, common blocks of this type include leaving small change carelessly around the house, or having poorly organised receipts, or items that remind you of your hardest times. Reframe and reorganise your environment to reframe your thoughts. The fourth block is a blindness to signs. You might just be so used to tuning out or discrediting your gut instinct so much that this attitude is ingrained in your subconscious, that this means you're going to miss signs from the universe that are trying to point you towards wealth. You should specifically look out for new opportunities or an abundance of loose change. And the number 8 is also seen to be a really lucky sign when it comes to wealth. Now, the fifth money block is having an excessively giving mindset. And being generous is great, but to manifest abundance, you need to be both a giver and a receiver. So are you asking the universe to help you and then refusing what it brings? Remember that your worth isn't only defined by what you can provide for others. It's healthy, positive, and you're right to want things for yourself as well. And in the long run, it's beneficial to save and be more frugal so that you can help others in the future. The sixth thing that blocks money is not being specific enough. Even if you think you've set a clear intention in your law of attraction work, many people don't realise that their subconscious has pushed them to set very vague goals that are hard to visualise and hard to attain. Don't be afraid to set your mind on a specific amount of money and in a specific time span. This is what gets results. The seventh block is having low expectations. So whether it's your ability to gain abundance or your faith in the law of attraction that's lacking, a mind that's full of doubts or low expectations will just not be able to harness the energy required for a wealthy life. In order to attract what you want, you have to let go of doubt. So reading manifestation success stories can really help to boost your vibration and give you some powerfully positive expectations. And the last money block is a fear of success. Your subconscious mind might actually be terrified of getting what it wants. It could be that you are scared of change, or you're worried that your success won't last. So whilst being cautious can be a beneficial tactic, these fears might ultimately be holding you back. So now you might be able to identify what could be blocking you. It's time to take some action to release these blockages and open the gates to wealth and abundance.